This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. I am Rajni Jain. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I like to welcome you all to this online meeting. Please take a moment to review the guidelines for this online meeting posted in the chat window. I now request the moderator, Mr. Lakshmipati, to introduce the speaker and start the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rajani. Good morning, everyone. I am Lakshmipati. I will be moderating this meeting. Agricultureinformation.com likes to welcome to this meeting Mr. Arnab Vohra, the Managing Director of Urban Growers LLP, New Delhi. Mr. Arnab Vohra will be speaking on the topic My Experience with Middlemen and Mandis. I now request the speaker to begin.
Thank you so much, sir. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking Rajni, Lakshmipati ji, and everybody at Agri Info for having me this morning to speak. I hope you all are staying healthy and staying safe and staying home. My name is Arnab Vohra, and I'm the Managing Director and founder at Urban Growers LLP, New Delhi. We're an agricultural supply chain company. We were established in 2017. And we started off as a mushroom farm wherein we were growing exotic mushrooms within the city limits and supplying it to hotels, restaurants, retailers, and wholesalers via B2B model. We started our first facility in Okla, wherein we were growing three types of exotic mushrooms in about 1,800 square feet of controlled environment space indoors. And soon later we started a second facility in Rohini, which was spread across 3,000 square feet, wherein we were doing commercial cultivation for fresh oyster mushrooms. Soon after that, we outsourced the production of button mushrooms and started working with the farmers through mandis at the time. And this made us realize the supply gaps that were existent as when we were supplying to the mandis, because there used to be some of our produce also that we were selling through the mandi network. So typically from a supply end, our observations were that we are charged a commission for the produce that is being sold through the market yard, and the buyer and seller both are charged commission in the Delhi market, as the case is. We are charged, for labor, we are charged for handling, and ultimately the product that was reaching our end consumer was costlier, had lower quality, and there were multiple handling taking place. Soon after, we started purchasing button mushrooms from the farmers and started supplying it to various parts of the country, such as Chennai and Odisha in particular. These two states showed us a very promising demand for consumption of button mushrooms, and we started with seasonal supply of button mushrooms from the Sonipat belt. So we send these mushrooms by rail transport, and we pack them in thermocol ice boxes of 18 kgs each, with about 9 kg of ice packs in them. And we are currently supplying over about 50 tons each day to these states, and we see a lot of promise coming in from that as well. Soon after then, we started expanding our product portfolio, and we noticed that there is a huge demand for fruits and vegetables export as well, and decided to explore that market as well. And today we work across four main verticals, which are export, retail, wholesale, and processing. I'm just going to start by explaining in detail what our processes are, where we feel the opportunity lies, and what our experience has been in buying from the market yards and supplying versus buying from direct farmers and supplying. So I'm going to start off with exports. Currently, we are handling about 15 SKUs in our product portfolio, 15 types of fresh fruits and vegetables we are supplying directly from farmers. And we have tie-ups all across the country with cold store facilities, which we are using as packaging facilities for our produce. We are purchasing directly from farmers today and FPOs across the country. We have made strong tie-ups, and we have been able to do so with a lot of help from the local district horticulture officers as well. We are also providing a service of co-packaging for exporters. I'd like to elaborate a bit on this. Co-packaging is basically, say, if you're a rice exporter or a meat exporter, or someone who's exporting agricultural commodities already, but not specifically perishables. So we are providing an end-to-end supply chain for exporters, wherein we do everything from on-farm procurement to domestic transportation to a pack house. In the pack house, we're doing sorting, grading, packaging, strapping, container stuffing, and then we are providing it to the exporter. So all the exporter has to do essentially in this is export the product. This service is typically right now being availed by existing established exporters as well, new exporters as well, and established exporters get the advantage that they don't have to run around helter skelter and manage the entire back end domestic process. All they have to do is export the product produce, and since they already have a very strong buying network in their export country, they can concentrate on marketing the produce. For new exporters who are looking to get into it, for them we make it a lot easier since we do all the grunt work that is to be done, so to speak. We are supplying by air and by sea, and currently we have an execution time by air of 24 hours, and by sea we take 3 working days to stuff a container, which is one of the lowest in the country. We also have, successfully executed about close to 200 tons in export orders till date, and we only started this about 18 months back. So considering that we have grown quite significantly in terms of volume, and going forward, we feel that this is going to be a very promising vertical for us. We have domestic cold storages tie-ups. 90% of our cold storages are in Maharashtra. We are actively looking for new cold storages in Gujarat, in south of India, and as well as Northeast, because we feel that localization of cold storages is very important so as to curtail the domestic transit that is happening. We've also started a new service now where we are packaging the produce on the farm itself, and stuffing it into the container. We're transporting the container via railways to the nearest port and then shipping it off. So what this helps us in is basically it avoids double logistics that were happening before domestically. So typically for export orders, what happens is, say you procure the produce from Andhra. If we're procuring, say, something from Andhra Pradesh, say we're procuring lemons. So we procure them from Andhra Pradesh, we pack them in Maharashtra, and then we ship it off. Say if you're shipping it off to UAE. Now what we are doing is we are packaging it on the farm itself, stuffing the container, putting it on a rake railway service, and shipping it off to JNPT. So this avoids doubling of logistics, this avoids doubling of labor, and it saves a significant amount of time and money for us, and also increases the quality significantly because there's no pilferage and there are no lags, so to speak, in the supply chain. The second channel that we're using currently for this for our sales has been wholesale, the traditional wholesale model, wherein we are working with distributors, wholesalers, as well as institutional buyers, and we are actively every time on the lookout for new alliances, for new buyers who are interested in taking it from us. Where we get a lot of time we get these questions that how are you different from the market yard, or how are you different from the mandis. Um, what our experience has been, in the mandis, you cannot, this product does not have a source of origin certificate, so to speak, in the wholesale market, or a date of harvesting in the wholesale market. You do not know when you're picking up produce from an agricultural market yard when it has been harvested, how the transportation and storage has taken place, and what these things have a limited shelf life. So say if you get a produce which has already been harvested about 5-6 days back, it has less of a longevity compared to our produce. Also, knowing the source of fresh produce has become significantly more important on the consumer side. We've seen there has been a huge shift in terms of the consumer awareness, and especially after this pandemic, people have become more health conscious. They're concentrating more because it's a funny thing that we will never buy unbranded bread. We will never buy loose biscuits. But for fruits and vegetables, which is something we consume every day, there is no brand or there is no traceability that we are used to. We just pick it up from our local vendor thinking that it is farm fresh produce, but in reality, we do not know when it has been harvested, where it's coming from, what kind of farming practices have been used at the back end. So that is where we come in for export as well as for our domestic orders. The third vertical that we have worked in has been retail. We were supplying certified organic produce to three stores in Big Bazaar in New Delhi. We started off with a pilot project last year, and we concluded that we need a more robust chain in order to supply year round. And today we are proud to say that we have a very robust supply chain for certified organic produce as well. We are carrying over 20 SKUs of certified organic fresh fruits and vegetables directly from farms. We do high quality non-organic produce as well. We have over 50 SKUs available in that. And we have a very attractive retail packaging that we've developed, which uses biodegradable material and is very, very shelf friendly and very presentable. And we'd be happy to share with any institutional buyer who wants to look into that as well. The fourth sector that has been quite promising this year and has helped us a lot this year has been processing. So when the lockdown happened, the mandis also got, so to speak, paralyzed because the entire distribution network was shaken up. The traditional way of movement of food, fresh fruits and vegetables and fresh produce was hit strongly. So during the time of a peak pandemic, we are proud to say that we actually tied up with farmers in UP and successfully supplied about 150 tons of green chilies to processing units. Again, in processing, we are buying straight from the farmers, and with the help of district horticulture officers and in coordination with our staff and our team, we've been able to identify surplus production clusters. And what this helps us in is, of course, keeping the rates in check, and also at the same time, we notice that in surplus production, there's a lot of farmer exploitation taking place. Because what happens is when there is surplus of produce, the farmer is, so to speak, at the mercy of the local commission agent to sell his produce. Now, with the new APMC laws coming in, obviously, he can look elsewhere. He can go to a private company without having to pay the APMC. But even when we procured, we had to, pay the APMC fees. Well, now which we won't have to, hopefully. So for processors, the advantages we offer are we offer on-field assistance to farmers during the harvesting process. So this helps us, to keep the parameters in check strictly for the processor. For example, if the end use of the produce is for the ketchup factory, it is harvested in a particular manner, whereas for a pickle factory, it is harvested in another manner. We're also offering another service wherein we're performing the rudimentary processing on farms itself. So I'd like to elaborate a bit on this. This is an interesting service that we started. We noticed that there are a lot of rudimentary processes taking place, such as air drying or maybe brine solution preparing, or even if you're processing, say, green chilies, we noticed that they have to do away with the stem. So again, to avoid the doubling of labor and to save time, and because removal of stem does not necessarily require a factory setup, we are offering this service on the field itself. Similarly, with air drying as well, we are offering it air drying at the farmer's end itself, and any other rudimentary process that a buyer requires, we can customize it according to that. We also provide customized delivery schedules to our processors to match their production cycles. So for our long-term buyers now, we have zeroed down on production clusters, tied up with farmers, and given them a yearly calendar for when they need to sow what variety, and guaranteeing them a price of the produce before. This has been a win-win for the processor and from the farmer as well, because it keeps you away from the uncertainty, and the farmers get their produce, sell their produce at a good value, at a predetermined value. And I feel no matter how many subsidies we give in the agricultural sector, ultimately what drives the market is profit and free market operations. So it has been promising till now, and I hope it continues to be so. In the upcoming times, we're very much interested in new supply alliances, new supply tie-ups. We are actively looking for farmer producer organization, agripreneurs, farmers, and local agents as well who want to tie up with us and who want to aggregate farm produce at a local level. We also invite farmers who want to market their produce in international markets to work with us. We assist in everything from on-farm procurement to packaging to financing your order to helping you arrange for all kinds of certifications required for whatever country you're looking at. We have a vast experience in terms of what pesticide residue levels are required for what country, and what certifications are required, and what agencies does one need to go through. So, offering this service, we feel that now, since the new APMC laws have come in, the farmers are going to have an alternative to the traditional mandi system, and they'll be able to explore more. And we want to really help the farmer in doing so, be it hand holding in terms of what variety to grow, till the point in hand holding him to what cargo to use, sea cargo, air cargo, if air cargo, whether it has to be refrigerated, whether to use the PIDA terminal or not. So we're assisting in all of that as well. We're also looking for new pack houses in the south region currently, and anyone who thinks that they can handle a good handle efficiently this supply process is free to join us. We're also looking for certified organic produce for export and non-organic produce as well, but more importantly, certified organic produce, because we feel that the European market holds a lot of potential for fresh fruits and vegetables out of the country. And typically, so to speak, okra, green chilies, drumsticks are a few products that have a lot of scope in the European market. Um, Moving forward, we also have a logistical service that we plan to launch probably, starting of 2020. So this logistical service is going to cater to specifically to farm fresh products, which is going to be an end-to-end supply solution, which is going to be in tie-up with the cold storages, with the cold chain providers, and with the refrigerated container companies, because we feel that even domestically, a lot of produce can be moved in refrigerated containers to avoid pilferage and to increase market efficiencies. So that's it for my talk. That's about what we do. I would like to take some questions if anyone has any now.
Thank you, Mr. Arnab. Your talk was quite interesting. Now I request the participants to ask their questions. We'll also be posting the speaker's contact details in the chat window so that the participants will be able to contact the speaker separately in case there is a requirement after the meeting also. Okay, moving on to the question round. First question is from, we will like to ask the first question, please. Mr. Pamati. Yes, Mr.
Yes, hello.
Mati.
Good morning, Mr. Arnab Vohra. It's a very good talk from you. But so from your experience, you should have some roadmap, like standard procedures to adapt, for the new ventures. Do you have any roadmap like this, or a plan, or a guideline? Who is venturing into the marketing?
In terms of our company or in terms of marketing of produce?
Well, marketing produce, you see, you gain some experience. You should give some small budding entrepreneur. You can give some guidelines. How to start it, how to go about, how to expand.
So what I would suggest is, in the initial days, if you're looking at agricultural export, one has to be very careful of the payment terms that are being offered. So the main market for fresh fruits and vegetables for India has been the UAE, and the UAE is known to be one of the worst payment markets as well. What is happening currently is big exporters are sending consignments on commission basis. So how they are working in export markets is similar to how we work in our local mandis. They send the produce, whatever the market rate is, it is being sold at that. The commission agent cuts the commission and then passes on the money. There is no fixed rate that is going on. I would seriously urge all exporters not to fall for this, because in our experience, there have been a lot of bad payments that have happened, and there is, what we seem to understand from the outside is that there is a certain sense of coordination in importers in UAE. So when you're sending your produce, they will tell you one rate, and when your produce reaches, the rate will automatically come down. And in the end, the exporter ends up losing a lot of money. So if you talk about a roadmap, I think for anyone starting out, getting a fixed price to start with, doing due diligence in terms of payments. There is a government organization which is ECGC, which is the Exporters Credit Guarantee scheme that is there by the Indian government. So that covers about 95% of the payment for any exporter. So it's sort of an insurance cover for your payment. So any exporter, venturing out must take these 2, 3 steps in his initial orders.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next question from Mr. Venkatesh.
Good morning, Mr. Arnab. It
Morning.
was a nice presentation. Yeah. So two questions I have. One is about the mandis itself.
Yeah.
Though I've never been to a mandi for my produce to sell my produce or something like that, but still I have this question. Before at least these farmers can have one place to go, that is a mandis to sell their produce. Now they have to, if they at all, they have to bypass that, and then the companies have to directly buy from them. They have to wait for somebody, or they have to choose somebody. They are at the mercy of the buyers, right? And you never know, like, though the mandis will function as usual before, but they are at the mercy of somebody else. That is one question. And then second one is, when we talk about organic produce, if you see in one area, maybe one or two farmers may be doing organic production.
Absolutely.
So in such a case, to aggregate the produce and then to do some business, meaningful business out of it, that becomes very difficult. What is your experience on that also? Thank you.
So coming to the first question about farmers being in the mercy of someone. See, by the end of it, any production, any manufacturing house, any production house is at the mercy of their marketeers and their distributors. There is, huge companies which are even doing products like electronics or manufacturing something in a factory also have distributors and people to market it further. Because the manufacturer cannot typically reach all of its consumers that efficiently. Whereas a distributor and a marketing company has the sole purpose of aggregating that produce. In terms of being at the mercy of that person, it has a lot to do with the kind of aggregator that the farmer is working with by the end of the day. There are a lot of greedy aggregators that are there, which are more catering to the buyer's interest than the farmer's interest. So we would typically ask farmers to be wary of that. But as far as being at the mercy, I don't think it's being at the mercy so much as delegating somebody that responsibility, that okay, fine, this is my produce, and I delegate it to you to market it and sell it at the best price that you can fetch. Coming to the second question of certified organic, your point is very much valid, that there are only a limited number of farmers that are doing it, and year-round availability becomes an issue. So for us also, the reason that we stopped supplying to Big Bazaar was this only, that we were not able to upkeep with the demand, because at the time we were working with a group of farmers in UP, and they had seasonal produce with them, and once the season was over, then the crop rotation time came in. So what we found a solution to that was that we found alternative belts wherein we can, substitute production in the off seasons when the localized farms are not producing. And so on, we managed a year-round supply. So what I would suggest is you look locally, but you think on a pan-India network, and you have farmers ready in the off season when your local farmers are not being able to supply to you. You should have alternative farmers in other states.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you. Next question is from Mr. Ajit Chaugle.
Hello, Arnab, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yes,
can hear
yes.
you, sir.
Yeah. See, nice presentation. Thanks a lot. I want to know, apart from vegetable and fruits, whether you deal with some jaggery products. I come from the Maharashtra, where we are producing the jaggery from the sugar cane, apart from your sugar. So, is there? Do you have any? I mean, you are dealing with
Absolutely.
the jaggery?
Currently, we are not doing jaggery. We have had some interest with sellers previously as well. We are constantly, expanding our portfolio. You can shoot us an email with your product that you're offering, the packaging that you offer, and we'll definitely look into it and look to market it.
From the jaggery, whether is there any scope for the powder form or lump form? Because we are making both. Recently, we have entered into a powder which has come in the
See,
market.
we see a lot of demand in the international markets for jaggery powder as well, because the world is going to move away from sugar very soon, and very slowly, but
Right,
very soon and surely, because the younger generation is not taking to sugar as the older generation did for sure. It's all about
right.
gluten-free, vegan products, dairy-free products, sugar-free products these days. Jaggery powder is a very good substitute to be added in hot beverages such as coffees and teas. The only downer with the jaggery, being used in place of powdered sugar is that jaggery has its own taste. And sometimes that taste is not going well along with these beverages. But we do feel that jaggery powder in retail packaging has immense potential abroad, if it's marketed in the correct way.
Etc. And one more thing, this thing, whether is there any requirement for the cold storage? Because we have areas where we are making mainly jaggery and some other products and some food processing which is not here, especially in particular
Which
Kolhapur,
area, which,
which is
which
on the border of the
in
Maharashtra and Karnataka.
Solapur?
Pardon? Yeah,
You have a
Kolhapur. It is on the border
portfolio?
of the Maharashtra and Karnataka.
Yeah,
Kolhapur,
sir,
it is
definitely. We can use that. We can
hello.
for sure use that facility. So right now, what we're using, the facility we're using is in Vashi, Navi Mumbai, in the MIDC industrial
Right.
area. We also would be very much interested if it's in Solapur, because Solapur is a area where we procure a lot of banana from.
No, no, sir, I'm
So
talking about the Kolhapur. Kolhapur, actually, from here, it is the Ratnagiri, that is the coastal area is nearby, and this is the middle of the Bangalore and Mumbai. So we can approach both these things either side also. Because from Bangalore, if you leave it, sorry, Mumbai, after that you will get only coastal in especially in the Bangalore only. In between, you don't
yeah,
know. It is in almost 6 to 8 kilometers. So this is the central place from where you can control this either east and west. East is say towards Solapur, you can go up to Andhra, and here the west side you can go on the coastal areas also. So this is the ideal
sound.
place on the highway, being on the highway also. I think this is a good ideal place, but so far we know nobody has come up with a cold storage. I don't know. So whether if you are having a good tax and saying you can take advantage of this also. We can provide the infrastructure already here with the backup electricity and everything.
So, sir, right now what we're doing in Maharashtra is we are working with Maharashtra State Agriculture Marketing Board. And
I see.
they have provided us with a list of cold storages that are existent all across Maharashtra that we are free to use. Kolhapur is a
Right.
very attractive place as well. You can write us an email of your details, and we will definitely look into it, because if it's equidistance from the south belt as well, it gives us a good midpoint, as you said.
That's it. Yeah. And we are connected from the both these things. Air recently and rail we have service. And then secondly, it is on the being on the highway, you can take advantage of the transport also, road
Sure,
transports.
definitely. You can write us an email for Jaggery and for this as well, and we'll be happy to take this forward.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you.
Gururaj Achar,
Thank you, Lakshmipati ji. Good morning,
welcome.
Arnab. It was
Good
an
morning.
excellent presentation with a lot of information.
Thank you.
I gather from your speech that you are involved in multiple projects like
Yeah.
exports, import, and then packaging, food processing, etc., etc., etc. For somebody who is at a zero platform, having a limited form, how best can we make a project report, or can you make a project report and guide us how we will be able to collaborate with you? That is number one. Number two, are you ready to have a contract farming with the farmers?
So as far as contract farming is concerned, we are doing it in a couple of areas. But at the same time, what my experience with contract farming has been that, it being a supply demand dictated market, and there are no rates that can be predetermined really. Contract farming, so we're very much interested in. We have a lot of, as I mentioned, we have a lot of institutional buyers with regular demand. So we already have our demand calendar planned, so to speak. And if we can have a supply calendar planned at the same time, it's a very big win for us. We will surely be interested in that. Um, how we work in contract farming basis is basically as I mentioned, we identify excess production clusters. If it's not an excess production cluster, if it's a very viable production cluster, then also we dive into it. We inform the farmer of the variety we need, the harvesting we need, the time we need it at, and the volume we need. And we predetermine a rate on day zero of his harvest, and pick up all the produce. As far as for someone starting on ground zero and wanting to collaborate with us, we're always on the lookout for new alliances. And in terms of project reports, I didn't understand what particular vertical are you looking to get into? Retail,
How
wholesale, processing, or exports?
I am from Hyderabad. I would look
Okay.
to know how else I can collaborate with you and what else I should do or what you should do to have a chain of reaction between you and my farm, which is a very limited farm, like 4 acres.
Okay, you have about 4 acres of area. Okay. So, what the best we can do is, we can tie you up with one of our institutional buyers who can pick up produce from you year round, and you can say plan three crop cycles a year, which you can tell us whatever crop is grown comfortably in Hyderabad area, depending on the soil conditions and the climatic conditions, and we can hook you up with an institutional buyer which can pick up your produce year long. If your farm is organic and if the soil levels are permissible, then we can, pick up produce for export purposes as well, which will fetch you a much higher price.
Okay. Thank you. I'll contact you. Thank you very much,
Definitely.
Arnab.
I
Thank you.
look
Mr.
forward.
Uday Kumar for the next question.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Good morning, Arnab. It's very inspiring in 18 months the way what you are articulating the business, what you have grown. We are a volunteer organization working in a hilly area. I'm from Bangalore. Can you just throw light on exotic mushroom, what you have indicated? Is there any value addition we can do? Is it in a small way with a self-help group? Can we kickstart? And do you have any buyback agreement in exotic mushroom or investment is required?
Can you please increase your volume, Mr. Uday
Yes,
Kumar?
you're not audible.
Mr. Uday Kumar, can I
Yeah,
request you to increase your volume?
yes, sir. Sir, can you just share more about the exotic
Yeah, it's
mushroom?
better now. It's better now. Please go ahead with the question.
Yeah, can you share more about the exotic mushroom where we can engage self-help group in the hilly areas? So it can be value addition or a fresh mushroom where you can have a buyback agreement or whatever. We are from Bangalore.
Okay. So see, in Bangalore, we are not currently retailing, but if you are looking to, promote it among the self-help groups, the easiest mushroom to cultivate is the oyster mushroom. And the growing medium that is used for oyster mushroom cultivation is basically paddy straw, which is typically thrown away or burnt by the farmers. So the input costs are really negligible in that. And the temperature requirements are also not that great. In button mushrooms, you require a temperature of 14 to 18 degrees at the time of, after the pinning starts. For the first 20 days, you require a temperature of 20 to 25. Then the next 20 days, you require a temperature of 14 to 18. Whereas oyster mushroom can be cultivated in temporary makeshift sheds as they are in the Sonipat belt. So I would recommend, sir, that fresh oyster mushrooms can be, a very good medium to promote the self-help groups, and they should be supplied to metropolitan cities which are within, say, a traveling distance of not more than 4 hours, 4 to 4.5 hours, because otherwise the quality of the mushroom starts to deteriorate. In terms of value addition products, you can look at dry oyster mushroom powder as well, and dry oyster mushroom by itself, dehydrated oyster mushroom. Actually, Patanjali is one of the very big buyers for dry oyster mushroom and oyster mushroom powder in India, and because they are using it in a lot of their products. And there are a lot of pharmaceutical companies as well, renowned pharmaceutical companies that are procuring dry oyster mushroom as well for pharmaceutical purposes. So I think oyster mushroom is a very good product, and it has been used previously for self-help groups, across various states and tribals as well to support them.
What will be the investment to kickstart, Arnab? Just in a small way, as you started with the 1,800 square feet? What do you suggest the investment?
So what I would see, sir, investment would typically depend on the kind of inputs. If you have rice farmer network that you can tap into, they are in any case burning their paddy straw. These days there's so much pollution also because of it. So you can get this paddy straw for free. That is the growing medium you get for free. And the only investment you'll have to make is in terms of seeds, in terms of the shed preparation. And I think, again, it's a ballpark estimate, but if you have a, say, 1,500 square foot, so mushrooms are grown on vertical, it's a vertical farming arrangement, as you would know, I think. So indoor vertically, when we're growing, a floor area of 1,000 square feet, if we have three shelves, translates to growing area of 3,000 square feet. So the investment would not, according to me, would not exceed more than a lakh for a shed, including the cropping materials for the first cycle as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from other participants? Mr. Shirish.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, Mr. Arnab, hi, I'm Shirish calling from Hyderabad. I'm
As
glad that I'm a part of this session. Just wanted to know what are your thoughts about residue-free products when compared with organic products? Thank you.
So actually, we have found that, whatever bulk volume we've been able to found has been residue-free products, because certified organic products is something very difficult to find in India. The number one problem being that, organic certification is a very tedious and a long process for any farm. The conversion from non-organic to organic takes anywhere between 3 to 6 years for any farm, depending on the residue levels. Also, what is the problem here is that our groundwater is common. So if your neighboring farms are using, urea and, are using DAP and all these chemical fertilizers in a very robust manner, even if you're keeping your farm organic, your soil clean, your water clean, the groundwater that is coming in is still contaminating the soil nearby. So certified organic produce is not that easy to come by. The future of organic is going to be predominantly residue-free vegetables. So I feel residue-free has a lot of promise, and also, importing countries which are a little strict, such as Singapore, such as London, they have stopped demanding for certified organic and they demand residue-free products only, because in the longer run, that is more doable.
Yeah, that was very good information. I also wanted to know what are your thoughts about exotic vegetables market in India? Thank you.
It's a huge market, sir. As the restaurant industry grows, as people acquire more taste, people travel more, culinary experiences become better. Exotic vegetables markets are going to grow exponentially. But at the same time, they're not going to see the bulk movement that traditional vegetables see, because traditional vegetables are used in the processing sector as well, which accounts for a lot of their volume. But exotics is a very promising sector, and the most promising way to market the exotic sector is to have good synergies with these retail, more than retail, I would say the culinary experience outlets, because that is where the real demand is.
All right. Do you have a demand for the exotic vegetables in Delhi if I can
Definitely, sir,
supply from South
definitely.
India?
So we have a very robust chain of five-star hotels, good restaurants that we're supplying to locally. And we currently, in fact, procure capsicums, avocados, iceberg lettuce, broccoli, and zucchini we're doing from the Maharashtrian belt. So we are doing a lot of exotics currently from the south as well.
Anup, also wanted to know if we have a unique product. Let's assume I have elephant yam from Andhra, and
Okay.
let's assume there is this MNK1 golden variety of custard apples from Maharashtra. Very unique. Do you think you can find an international market for us for that? Thank you.
Definitely, sir. So for elephant yam, actually, we have been procuring it from Andhra itself. We did 2 containers also during the lockdown for elephant yam to the UAE market. Fresh elephant yam is a market Dried elephant yam chunks is another market. Vietnam and UAE are two significantly major markets for elephant yam out of India. As far as the custard apples are concerned, again, the European and American belts are more conducive. We can fetch a better rate, and we'll be very much interested in marketing it.
Right, thank you. Another question. If you talk about the mandis, I've been selling lots of things to Azadpura Mandi in Delhi and in Mumbai and Sholapur and other places. So do you think, I mean, the mandi people become imperative at a given time? I
Absolutely,
mean,
sir, because I feel, both things need to exist side by side. The mandi makes it, sets a rate for the market. In a market that is largely unorganized and works on demand and supply forces, the rates have to be dictated by the mandi by the end of the day. And also, the small fragmented demand cannot be catered to by the private players. The supply chain is not yet that efficient because what happens is, the rediwalas, the small shop owners that, are local Kinara stores, the small restaurants, the small hotels, the highway joints, these people cannot tie up with us, and even we cannot service these orders. So that is where the mandi people come in. But for institutional buyers, for buyers which have a regular demand, and especially for buyers which are buying it for export purposes, the mandis are a huge minus. People have incurred severe losses because they picked up the produce from the market yard, packed it, and shipped it off in shipping containers, and in the end they just had a huge loss at their hands, and that is because the traceability factor does not exist in the mandis. The trader is never going to be fairly open to the consumer that this produce is from this state, has been harvested on this date, because in many cases, even the trader would not know where the produce is from. So yes, it's imperative that they exist, but then again, their existence is not imperative in all verticals equally.
all right, I'll get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, more
Arnab sir,
questions to
can I?
Mr. Ajit.
Hello, Arnab
Yes,
sir, can
yes.
I? Again, this is Angin Chowdhury. Sir, we have a group of farmers who are right now they are in exotic vegetable growing, and but they are not having a good market, especially because the pandemic previously they used to send it to the Goa and Bangalore, but unfortunately right now they are facing some problems. So in that, can you help us whether it is possible to whether you can make the marketing of these products, and if you suggest to go for a particular, especially exotic vegetable as your guidance, we can put it where they're ready, because it is red cabbage, small chili, then zucchini, burr, iceberg, a lot of these exotic vegetables are grown, and we have
So
we are interested.
what area is this, sir?
This is in Kolhapur, sir. Again, Kolhapur, Maharashtra.
Definitely, sir. We can look into it, and we have a good demand for exotics as well, and we can definitely help in marketing this produce.
Hmm. Okay, thanks.
So as I mentioned, we have a good market in Delhi, and but typically the exotics coming in from Maharashtra do not have such a long shelf life. If we talk about capsicums from the south region versus the capsicum from the Maharashtrian belt capsicums have a little lesser of a shelf life. So maybe if you're doing it from Kolhapur, then again we'll be looking at surrounding markets, nearby markets to market the produce, and we'll be happy to work with you, sir. Definitely, you can write us an email and get in touch with us.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, thank you. Any more questions, participants? Can I assume the
Yeah,
no
this
more?
Shirish again, Arnab.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Arnab, can I actually know what's your company's strength? How many employees do you have on the whole on your payrolls, and what has been your company's turnover in the past? Thank you.
So actually, we do not disclose our financial details, but in terms of our employee strength, we have a strong team of 20 on-field procuring agents that we work on order basis. They're not on our payroll currently, and we have about 5 to 7 employees on our current payroll, which are permanent full-time employees, which are working in the corporate office.
Thank you, Arnab.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, now we have completed the round of questions. I'd like to thank on behalf of Agriculture Information I like to thank Mr. Arnab Vohra on behalf of Agriculture Information for taking his time to
Thank you,
speak.
sir.
I now request the organizer of the meeting, Ms. Rajini Jain, to please close the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lakshmipati. I like to thank the speaker, Mr. Arnab Vohra, for taking the time to talk with us. I also like to thank all the participants for their time. The meeting will now be closed.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.